Hey guys, so we're going to walk you through how to open up this hanger. First things first, you need to unlock the padlock. That is very important, otherwise you're not getting in. What you have to do is that there's 4 digits on the bottom. You need to line up the code with the top row of digits indicated by a black line. So I'll enter that in here and we're going to fast forward through this part. The last digits only goes one direction. And then once you have the code in, pull, it unlocks, just like that. You remove the padlock, put it on the side, grab this handle, rotate counterclockwise 90 degrees. And then that's unlocked. And then you push on the fold in the bifold door, right in the middle. And make sure you're pushing into the door so that the hook gets around this buckle that's there. Open all the way up. Take the bungee cord, wrap it around, and hook it on. Alright, so after we open up the first door, the south door, we're going to open up the center door. And to start, you take the lock latch, move it over so that's what you can then untie this rope by feeding it through. And so this rope actuates up through, pulls down, and there are 2 locking pins in the top corners. So you pull, you hold onto the rope, push up the lock, and the 2 locking pins will lock into place up top. And then the third and final door is like the first one. But you open this from the inside, so you pull up on the locking pin latch, and then you pull from the middle. It might jam up under here, but keep pulling. And push it over the rest of the way. Again, take the bungee cord, wrap it around, and latch. All right, so here's how you work the tug. First things first, it's a gasoline powered engine, so we have 100 low lead in this can of fuel that we can just refill over at the fuel station. So topped up with fuel, and then in order to start moving the tug over, we have 2 handles here. This is the direction select lever. Make sure that it's in neutral so that the transmission's in neutral. And also check to make sure that you have good tire pressure. If necessary, we also have this air compressor, and it's electric, no oil required, and then the hose is hung up here. So everything's good, fueled up, ready to go. We take it, and then you can feel that it is rolling freely because it is in neutral. If it's stiff, then that means it's in drive. And then we move it over, get it lined up. And then I like to line up one of the pins first, and then you, the handle on the right is the latching mechanism, so you push that all the way down, and it is now engaged into the front strut. Then to start, we have a prime button over on the side of the engine, right above the carburetor. We'll prime the engine about 5 times. Okay, and then we come over here to the choke. Choke is full forward, and then grab, hold steady. It'll be rough, so hold back on the choke throttle until it runs smooth. Like that. So shut off, throttle all the way back, and it shuts off. All right, and then once you have it started and it's running, then what you can do is you can hold on to the left lever, and since we're backing out, we're going to pull towards us in the direction that we want to walk. And then once it's in gear, then you hold on to the clutch handle, and this engages the engine into the transmission, and it'll start to pull the plane out. Also make sure, it's also really helpful if you have friends, but watch your wingtips to make sure that they stay clear of the door, and then follow the line, and then you can just go straight out. And then we usually like to turn to the south and then that's the direction that we'll be facing the taxi out. All right, to close the doors, you start with the north facing, or the north door first. You unhook the bungee cord, you're pulling inwards to avoid catching on that bracket. And then it takes a few tugs. And then once you have it closed most of the way, you come to the middle bifold and you push it. Make sure that the locking pin is lined up with the top lock and the bottom lock, and then you should be able to latch it closed. Give it a tug, make sure it's closed there. And then we'll come over to the middle. This might be a little tricky, but you pull it, you hang onto the rope, you give it a sharp tug to unlatch the locking pins on the top corners. Like that. Then you pull it close. You pull the locking pins close, and very important, make sure that you tie up the rope. And it's just a simple cinch, not like that, and it stays out of the way, off the ground, and off the windshield of the plane. And then we come over to the last door. Once everything's put away, the lights are off, which, by the way, there is a light switch over where you see the conduit on the wall. Once you have the lights off, then unlatch the bungee cord. Got to get outside for this one. Take the T-handle, take clockwise 90 degrees, give it a push, make sure it's engaged properly. Take the padlock, and lock the padlock, and clear the code. And that's... Hey guys, we're going to go through how to open up the hangar over at Metro. So we have this steel cable here that is designed to hold the roof down in case of any large gusts. We have to undo this first. To start, what you have to do is you have to lift up on this arm to relieve the tension off of the top latch here. Once that's been relieved, then we should be able to undo this. I think I might have tightened that some. And then once that's undone by pushing down on this lever here. Prime example on not to over tension this, otherwise that'll happen. This will be really difficult to get off. So once you have both of these latches disengaged, you pull to reduce the to give more slack on the hook. This hook releases from this attach point, and then you come over here to follow the yellow rope, and then we cinch the rope and the hook up into the sky so that we can clear the way for the plane. Right, like so. Alright, next step is that we have to unlock the padlock from the door handles. So you enter the code in on this key lockbox. It's 4 digits. Once you have the code entered, you push down on the top lever here and then pull out towards you. Here you have the key. Once you have the key, then you use it on this black and white master lock, not the silver, the black and white. And then you just unlatch the lock and then undo that. And then I just pull it through and let it hang. Now, when you want to reattach the lock, what you have to do is put the chain through this other handle and then loop through and make sure that you only attach this lock onto the other padlock. Otherwise, the mechanic shop has the key for this padlock. They won't be able to access it if this is connected to both chains. And that's how you reattach. Alright, so once you have the padlock unlocked, what you do is you should re-enter the code. And put the key back into the lockbox so that you don't keep this with you, accidentally misplace it, and then lock the key in the hanger. So put it in bottom end first, push down the latch, and now it's back in the case. Then once you have the padlock open, you undo this latch lever and then let that hang down, and then you can start separating. Very important to make sure that the doors are completely stowed so that it does not get in the way of the wings. And then we just do the same with the other. Alright, we're going to talk about the winch here. This will help to bring the plane in from the outside. So to start, you need to make sure that the latch is undone by pushing backwards. That allows the cock to spin freely. And then from there, you can go ahead and pull out. And then this hook attaches to the hook of the tail. And from there, once it's attached, make sure that it's properly lined up. You'll have to adjust the turn as you go of the aircraft, but you re-engage this latch so that it starts ratcheting. And then you keep tension on the cable, and then you winch the plane in from there, adjusting the turn as you go. Alright, to lock it up, if you did it right, then you would have had the padlocks both unlocked. You can feed the chain through, and then take the padlock and loop it through the other one to latch. And then you take this, and then with the arm here, you latch over on the catch, and then close, and then I just like to feed the chain through the lever to keep it in place. And that's how you lock it. Final step is that you have to put the ratchet back on to secure the roof so that it doesn't go away like Dorothy. Alright, once that's safely on the ground, that should all your landings. Then you take the hook, feed it through the tube. That wasn't supposed to happen. And then you just ratchet but also make sure you don't ratchet too tight. Like once it starts getting pretty snug, then you can just kind of let it hang. Otherwise, this thumb latch is going to stick, and it's going to make your next flight much more difficult.